Hello everyone, I'm Wither, and me and my friends are working on a Souls-like game called Battle on Slime Island. I know this channel hasn't seen a lot of uploads, for a very long time, but I'm back and I plan on making these every month or so. Do take this with a grain of salt though, as I can still randomly disappear for like 2 years again. Now, I did have a Devlog 2 script written, but as you can probably tell, that was almost 2 years ago. Since then, I've restarted my game 2 times, and now I'm with a build of the game that I'm pretty happy with right now. Obviously, it doesn't have the best code at times, but it's a lot better than the code I wrote 2 years ago. Yikes, dude, this code it's just not good at all. But code isn't the only thing I've gotten better at. I've also gotten better at making music, which shouldn't be a real surprise since this channel is mostly music from the game. Now, about me restarting Bozy 2 times. So it's not like I don't have an experience when it comes to game development. But what I don't have experience in is Ditto, so I'm forced to learn it while I make the game, which is totally not a bad idea, and I definitely won't be forced to rewrite multiple lines of code over and over again. But that's a job that future me will handle. Damn, I must have crazy foresight or something. The first thing I added after the first devlog was something called Overheat. Overheat is something me and my friend came up with when playtesting the boss, since it was just really easy to spam the life gun on one like that. So to combat this, we decided to add Overheat as a new mechanic. Overheat is a new bar that goes up every time you shoot. Once the bar fills up to its max, you're not allowed to shoot anymore, making spraying bosses and enemies with bullets not a viable strategy anymore. I really do love this mechanic, since you have to put more thought into how you should defeat a boss or enemy more. Anyways, I've already made a video about the first version of Bozy, so I won't go too in-depth with it. I don't want to talk about stuff I've already talked about. After completing the entirety of the first level, I went on to make level 2 in the upgrade system. The background is a time-lapse of me coding it. The code may be bad, but I had a good time making stuff like that. Sure, it's simple, but it got the job done for what I wanted. Was it going to be good for a fully polished commercial game? Probably not, but that's fine. I wasn't worried about making something good. I just wanted to make a game that others would enjoy. Look how simple this area looked. It's not at the same quality I want this place to look like, but it's there and I was happy with it. I really do miss the charm old Bozy had, but maybe that's just me being nostalgic for something I had a lot of passion for. Now, don't get me wrong, I still have a lot of passion for the game. It's just died down from me being more realistic and not flooded with the joy of taking game dev seriously for the first time. Anyways, I'll go over the stuff I did after making the upgrade system. I made the hub a little bigger, added fade in and out transitions, updated the pause menu. This menu is honestly still pretty decent. Added a dev console made by Jitspo. Started on the map for level 2, made a new enemy which calls out to other nearby slimes to attack you, and added a splash screen. And guess what? I did all of that in only a month. And, surprise, surprise, I got burnt out so bad I stopped for 2 months. I then came back, saw how horrible my code was, said I could do better, and scrapped the entire thing and restarted it from scratch. Hooray, we're restarting the entire project that I spent 4 months on. That's not a lot of time actually. Hey, this is just the beginning. That's not even the longest. It's not the longest at all. God damn it. Now, if you keep up with my posts on Blue Sky, which you should totally follow, because I rarely post, but it's not doing too well. Please just give me posts or likes or whatever. You'll know all about this journey if you did that, this looks better in the script. And the newest version of Bozy, in case you haven't, which is very, very likely, I'll get right into it. I started with the movements and enemy, the basic AI. The AI is actually pretty bad, which, now that I think about it, it completely contradicts what I was saying about me doing better. Yeah, I did not do better at all. Like, it's so bad that since I didn't know what the navigation agent node was, I had to make wall detection with raycasts. Like, you know those little arrows all around the enemy? Yeah, that's it. That's the wall detection. I didn't do anything crazy, I just made the enemy go backwards and hit a wall. I was trying to make the game slower than last time so I don't burn myself out as fast, and I was so slow that I didn't even add the life gun until 2 days after the restart. I don't know if I was still recovering from the burnout or something, but this was just really slow. The worst part is that I was copying code from the old version into this version. Who does that? Why was I copying code that was literally the reason I was forced to restart the game? It clearly didn't help since I was still really slow. Well, on day 4 I made the player health, enemy health, and a custom dialogue system. Now, this was the era of me that said, yeah, I'm too cool to use plugins. I can make them all myself. I couldn't. This whole dialogue system was just a mess of arrays. The whole thing worked off a page system. Now, before I explain the entire system, right off the bat, usually a dialogue system is all in a text file or a JSON or however you want to store it. It's not in arrays. This system just is bad. It's not good. It's so bad for what I wanted. It's so bad for a lot of games. Because this system had 4 different arrays: names, name colors, audio, and the actual dialogue itself. The brain of this system would go through the arrays at the same time, playing audio and mapping each text and color to a piece of UI. It sounds pretty cool, and I guess it is, but it's not really practical. It's really tedious to use, and a single mistake would grant an error. It's probably more akin to a visual novel dialogue system, but I think that's still a stretch. After getting the dialogue system working, I started making level 1. So on day 5 I got the first room and part of the dialogue for the tutorial done. I also added boxes you can hide behind along with the enemies that I made. For a while you actually had to hide behind the boxes to go through the tutorial. I couldn't make it obvious that you needed to do that, so I just scrapped it. On day 6, I don't know if I didn't have any time to work on Bozy or something, but I didn't do anything. Literally the only thing I didn't do was add this random secret room with the Godot logo. I think I saw a video that added the Godot logo to the game and I thought it was cool. That's it. Day 7 added a few things like the overheat bar, brand new heavy attack, coins, and more to the tutorial. Now, the heavy attack shoots a ball that absolutely demolished everything. It was kinda unbalanced and could shoot through 5 enemies in a row, dealing 25 damage each hit. The only thing that didn't make it stupid powerful is that it maxed out your overheat each time you used it. I eventually changed this though, as I didn't find there was a real incentive to use it. The overheat just took way too long to wait for. Day 8 and 9 wasn't anything too crazy. I just finished the tutorial and plopped down the chest. Yeah, nothing crazy. Day 10 added all the UI like the pause menu, settings, and a main menu with a really hard to read logo. I really did try with this logo, but it just didn't work. I tried updating it more, but it really wasn't a good design. It was a neat idea, just not executed good. On day 11 I started working on the boss, and then I didn't do anything else. I took a break to work on a side project after this, so I didn't get to work on Bozy for 20 days. But when I came back, I began working on a new mechanic. The long-awaited parrying. Parrying was very simple when I first coded it. It was a slash so you can only aim in 4 directions. It was pretty difficult and clunky like that, so I had a genius way to fix it. It's a solution that rivals the likes of Einstein. I made the life gun be able to change into a shield so you could parry. And thus, parrying was born. I haven't changed the way it works, it's just perfect now. Oh, big jump scare, time jump, time jump! On day 32, crazy, I was really delving deep into polishing the parry. I made animations that was a super awesome flashy killing blow. It made it so when you kill an enemy while it's stunned from a parry, it plays the animation. This is my favorite thing I added when it comes to visuals. The animation is just really satisfying and makes you feel cool when defeating an enemy. The only problem was that it just killed them instantly. Sure, it was cool to see, but it was way too strong to be in a hard game. Remember, this is a Souls-like. Can't make the game feel like Doom Eternal or something. But alas, my silly brain saw a cool animation and didn't think twice about it. On day 33, I worked on a custom health bar system for bosses. It let me change the icons based on the health of the boss, and I could even add a frame to it. It was honestly pretty cool. I'm probably going to reuse the system in the future. From day 34 to 37, I spent that time to overhaul the main menu. This is my favorite iteration of the main menu. It is just awesome. The transitions are really cool, and it just makes it feel like a game. I also made the player UI a lot better, and closer to something you'd see in a real game. I have mixed feelings about the UI. It's not bad, but it's also not the best for this game. I'm still trying to find a visual identity for the game's UI. Stuff like that is just hard for me, and I don't even know where I'm going to find it. Day 38 is one of my favorites since I added loading screens. The loading screen tips are pretty good, and some of them are actually kind of funny. The IGN one is definitely my favorite. If I were to bring the loading screens back, that one is most likely to make a return. On day 39, I polished the healing visuals more, and I started working on the inventory for the game. I didn't finish the inventory until day 43. This version of the inventory was pretty cool, but I just followed a tutorial for it. It made it so I couldn't do much expression for how I wanted my inventory to work. Day 40 was just polishing the game more and making a buff system. The polishing I did was making the items on the floor look better, adding a notification that tells you what item you picked up, and making the item tooltips better. I spent day 41 to 44 remaking the entirety of the tutorial so it could be a more visual thing. I plan on remaking it again, but still similar to this tutorial. I like this one since it blends into the story, instead of it being a regular tutorial. I spent all of day 45 making a new font for the game. Day 46 and 47 was saving and loading. I have no idea what I did day 48 to 52. All I know is that on day 53 to 55 I added open chest animation and item rarities with new items I could give each all. Day 56 I started working on the mimic enemy. I didn't get far at all, I just did the spawning animation, didn't even touch the AI for it. At this time I wasn't really good or wanting to make enemy AI, I just thought it was boring and tedious. Since then I've changed my look on enemy AI and I actually think it's pretty fun. Day 57 focused on just finishing the tutorial, and I did. By this time the entire tutorial was finished, and I was one step closer to publishing a demo. Day 58 was just overhauling the debug menu with a ton of commands. I won't get too into them because 1, I don't really remember all of them, and 2, I just don't think it's relevant anymore. I plan on making a debug menu, so I'll get into that one in a later video. Day 58 also consisted of me adding the bonfires to the game. These bonfires are called God Puddles. The name could get changed, but it's kinda iconic at this point. The first thing I added to them was making it so you could teleport between the ones you've activated. Day 60 was just adding the upgrade system. This upgrade system was a lot better than the old one. I took more inspiration from the Dark Souls games for this one. In fact, I still use the same type of layout for the new upgrade system. Day 63 added being able to pick up your gel after death. That's all I added from what I know and remember, and I stopped working on it for another 2 months. Oh, another crazy time skip. This time it's the same length. So I guess it's still crazy, but this number's gonna shock you. Day 126 added screen shake and a new lighting update. I like this lighting a lot. It's a lot softer than the old one. Now we're really getting to the big numbers. Day 136 I started remaking the enemy AI and finished it on day 138. Day 139 was just making a brightness slider. Day 140 and 41 I made new main menu music and put it in the game. You can see the whole song on this channel too. I really like this main menu theme. It sets the tone for the game a lot better than the old one. Day 145 I finished the brightness slider and remade the inventory UI. On day 146 and 47 I made a fog wall shader. I have no ideas for this, but I'll get into that later. On the same day, I also added item cooldowns. Day 148 to 50 was making the lighting look better and making an edge page. Day 153, I started working on the prologue. I don't really want to show any of this, just to keep it a surprise, so I'll skip past it. Day 157, I added a lot more polish to the game, like a dashing ghost trail, corruption tendrils on the wall, freeze frames, and particle effects for when you parry. On day 148 to 59, I made a dynamic crafting recipe system. Sadly, this was the last time I'd work on this version of Bozy. After almost 160 days of working on this version and getting close to releasing a demo, I restarted 2 months later with a new workflow. I decided to work on all the mechanics before moving to polishing and making levels. We'll do a rapid fire of the days until it gets more interesting. Day 1, I got health, dashing, overheat, healing, and a life gun fully added. Day 7, I added chest, a training dummy, damage numbers, the corrupted slime, buttons, doors, and an easy way to add hit flashes. Day 14 and 15, I added ammo mods, the inventory, items, and updated the player UI. Day 21, I added the shop and God Puddles with teleporting. Day 22, I added a vignette shader that I could customize and pause the health system by having a damage bar, making the vignette turn red and pulse when low on health. I then took a break for 4 months and came back in February of this year. Day 165, I added the upgrade system and finished it on day 174. I am very proud of this upgrade system. It took a very long time to do and it turned out really good. Around this time I also added a roof component that I could fade the roof in and out. That brings us to my idea for the fog wall. I want to add more depth, so instead of covering the entire room, I'm just going to cover the entire boss arena with a roof and have the fog wall act like a door. It's definitely a better version than the old one, but I'll have to test it out in game before making that decision. On day 175, I messed around with remaking the healing visuals. Let me know what you think about this version of it. I like it, but it could be better. Day 176, I recoded the God Puddle teleporting system working between levels. It's very nice, and it's bug free. From what I know, it hasn't gotten any bugs. Hooray. Day 178, I added behavior script to the life gun. Let's go. Let's go. Life gun mods, like full on. You can literally change the entire mechanics of the life gun now. It's pretty sick. I've only made one, which is the shooting, and technically I didn't make it. I mean, I did make it, but I made it before this. Okay, whatever. On to the next day. Day 181, I reworked the buff system to make adding buffs easier and more visual appealing. God, the script it just sucks. Around this time, I was really focused on getting a Steam page up and making Bloodhound Studios an LLC, aka a real business, a real company. Let's go. Bloodhound Studios is a real thing. Let's go. We did it, boys. We did it. Was it smart to do it now? I don't know. Day 195, I added a brand new enemy to the game. Can you tell I've really given up on this video? Like, this video's like 20 minutes long already. Hey, it's called Gunner Slime. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'll put the concept art up on the screen. And I made the concept art 260 days ago. I mean, 260 days before I made the anime. It's a long time. We finally made it to day 200, and I don't know if my math is wrong, but if I go up on my script, it's a lot. For some reason, Bozy version 3 is like only, what, 7 months? But how are we on day 200 if the Bozy version 2 was only like 10 months and it was at like, what, 178? Like, how are we higher? No, it was like 159. How are we higher than... I don't know, whatever. I guess my math is just wrong, or the days or the months are just completely like giants, or I don't know. Day 200, I made it so the enemies can get buffs. It's pretty awesome. We're getting some progress after the quote-unquote 200 days. I don't know. I swear to God, I've checked the days on this like so many times, and it's right. It's literally right. I don't know how 7 months is 200 days, but 10 months is only 148 or something. I don't know. I need to get off this. Basically, whenever you add a buff to the enemy, the Gunner Slime adds a buff to their bullet, while the regular guy adds a buff to themselves. So if you add fire to the Gunner Slime, he'll just set everything on fire. Meanwhile, the corrupted slime is just burning alive. And you can also add healing to the bullets, so then whenever you get hit by the Gunner Slime, it heals you. It's very nice. That's not practical. It's horrible. That's not useful at all, but you can do it. Day 203, I made a spawning animation for the enemies. It looks pretty goofy, but not anymore. I made it look good. It looks very nice. Yeah. And now we have reached the end on day 204. It's the wave system. It's honestly pretty cool. I didn't put this in the script, so I'm just putting this on the top of my head. Basically, I added in the wave system, whenever you put down the enemies, they have like cracks underneath them. So then whenever they like come up, there's a big crack, and then they come up. But then the waves before that, okay, just explaining this is horrible. I'll show it on screen or whatever. I'm bad at explaining things. Now you've reached the true ending. That ending was a sham. It was a lie. I lied to you straight to your faces. Haha. I came back after 2 years and I'm lying to you, and I'm gonna lie to you again. Most of you guys know that Bozy is 2 years old. Actually, most of you guys don't know that, actually. Unless, I mean, okay, yeah, it's 2 years old, but what if I were to tell you that it was a lie? I lied to you again. You've been bamboozled. It's actually 3 years old. If you've seen the first devlog, you'll know that I first started Bozy in Unity before switching to Godot, but there was a version before that. The first version of Bozy was made in GDevelop, which I got inspired by this one YouTuber who was making who still is making a roguelike, but I saw those videos like 3-4 years ago, and he's still developing on it. I mean, hey, we've basically followed the same paths. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but he's restarted the game like 5 times already. So we're basically the same person, you know. We're basically the same guy, you know. This first version of Bozy was a roguelike. It was I literally just copied him because I saw him make a roguelike, so then I was like, I should make a roguelike about a funny little slime who travels between different dimensions and gets strong as like missions or whatever. I don't know what the lore was. The lore was nothing. It was whatever came up on my head. But now the game has evolved over 3 years. How cray is that? But I started working on this version of Bozy 2 years ago, so it's technically 2 years old, but the idea and the characters are like 3 years old. It's pretty cool. I'll just outro. I'll show the very simple. Actually, it's probably already shown already. I don't even know why I'm doing all this, but whatever. Goodbye, outro. I think I was gonna say something, but then I forgot. I don't know. This video is like 24 minutes long. It's overdone. Uh, that's all I've done in the 2 years that I've been gone. Goodbye. See ya.